What a difference a day makes, or a few days make. So look at this. It's all foggy out there. Oh, and it's blooming freezing. And I ain't got this anymore. The top lip's gone. Gone for that. Good riddance. I didn't really enjoy having a moustache, to be honest. It was great cause, Movember. Thank you everyone who's donated. But having that, I didn't like. When I had a beard, I quite liked doing that. Quite like the old Father Christmas. Oh, wise man. Oh, didn't mind that. Especially if I had years ago I had a goatee. I wouldn't have minded going like that on my goatee. Yes, believe it or not, I tried being funky in the 90s with a goatee. What was I thinking? I also had a centre parting. Oh my God, I was 20 odd. You know, you do these stupid things then. There's some photos somewhere, I'm not going to get those out. Awful. Yeah, the moustache, I didn't enjoy that bit. Probably because I didn't trim it and it was a bit... Ugh. But anyway, I'm back to normal. Back without my moustache. Got a horrible, wet, horrible, miserable winter's day now. It's just damp and yucky. So we're going down and do the final bit of fencing. Look, we're just coming up now. Let me just drive close and we can see. So I did this the other day, done the top and the bottom. And we're coming on down now. How far did I get? I can't really remember. I ran out of wire just down here. Here we go. Where are we? Where are we? Oh, I've gone quite a long way, haven't I? Here we go. There's the remains of the stake there. There it is, with a bit of wire on. I have got another bit of that in the back. Right, so let's have a look. I'm going to work out the costings on this afterwards, actually, what it's cost me to put this fence up in materials. Because it's a fair whack of cash, actually. Surprising what it amounts up to, and it's interesting for someone who's doing, you know, renting land or buying a bit of land, to think what it would cost them. Oh, get my gloves. Can you see that? It's blooming cold. I haven't dressed up warm today either. I'm flipping numpty. I haven't got a thick jumper on. I haven't got my thermal pants on. Don't own any thermal pants. I am cold. What a flipping plonker. Why didn't I wear something decent? Right, let me just sort myself out as usual. I get here and I'm all a fluster. I've got to get the other lot of wire out, join it to that, run it down there, a couple of stakes down there, and then we'll have a calculation. Will I get all this? I've come down in the morning. Will I get this done this morning? I might have to come back this afternoon and finish it. This weather, it ain't going to clear today, is it? Look, let me just show you. Look, can I... Look at this, look. Let me just pan round. Look at this, look, where are the trees? Look at that. Look at that, flipping pea super as they say, look. Okay, your visibility is pretty low, isn't it? If you're driving on the motorway, it'd be quite dodgy. Right, anyway, let's get ourselves sorted. I got another lot of second-hand wire to use up. I've got another bit here. I might as well join all these little bits up together because I'd rather use that up than have that bit kicking around. Although, to be honest, sometimes it's better to keep the little bits for... Oh, it's caught on there. What's that caught on? Right, I'm going to put the... I'm juggling too much. I'm going to put the camera down and just sort myself out because it's a right muddle. There's the fencing stakes for later, second-handers. Right, crack on. Ugh. Right, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to actually, I think I'm going to roll that one out as far as I can, join this shorty bit on. I decided I don't want a shorty bit left around, and then put the big one on. That's going to reach all the way to the bottom and up. Oh, sorry, I'm just tripping over stuff here. So that give me a fair amount of oh, this tripod's knackered. Ken the Mugman has bought me another tripod which I need to swap for this one because this one is falling apart, hence why you see it and it keeps going all wonky. Oh, flipping heck. Butterfingers, it's all wonky and donkey tonight. Are you wonky donkey? I'm a wonky donkey. How much have I got on here? That's that bit. Run out over there. Got to join the other shorty one on. Let's get me shorty one. Shorty. Join that bit on there. Not too complicated really. I've just put a loop in the wire and just twist it. Need a good pair of gloves for this, that's for sure. If you saw my video the other day, as I said, the top wire, brand new wire, bottom wire, second hand I've got from a job where I had to take down a fence, and I worked out it's, you know, it's probably 50p a metre to put in just the wire down. So realistically, you can see why it's worth me saving it. No, have I got that right? It was, no, that's not right. 25p a metre. Right, see you in a minute. There we go. I got my end. Ooh, put my gloves back on. I got my end out for you guys. There it is. And I'm joining me, getting my end out, showing you my end. Look at that. Ooh. Joining it on with the end of the final roll of second-hand wire. So, I used to, you probably saw, it's on old fencing stakes. And I used to, every time I finished a fencing job with broken stakes, I used to bring them back up the farm and stick them on a pile, which I've got along the track. And now that pile is so big with old fencing stakes, that actually I'm thinking, well, why did I bring them up? Because I cut a few up for the wood burner or the fire in the house, but actually they're rubbish. They're treated anyway, probably shouldn't be burning them in the first place, but they burn so quick. And so they're all right. It's quite nice to have a starter firewood to get the rest of the wood going sometimes, but they burn too quick, so they're not ideal for the house. So in the end, what I'm doing now are these are the two stakes that, look, that's what happens with non-creosoted or rot timber. It rots like that in the ground. That's the point where it meets the ground. I'm just chucking them in the hedge so they can rot down there. There doesn't seem much point in taking them back for me to have to move them again and have a bonfire at some point. They can sit in the hedge for another 20 years and just go to nothing eventually. Right, I got this big bad boy here now I've got to put out. Can you see that? I've got to roll that down there into the mist. Never mind gorillas in the mist, you've got Funky Farmer in the mist. Not much difference between me and a gorilla really, is there? Right, let's get going. Ugh. I decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bit at a time rather than try and roll that in one go. I'll get some staples in. I'll tell you what, we'll do one stake, and then I'll see you at the bottom, because you don't want to watch 4 hours of me stapling, do you? I know I said that last time. Some of you kinky people do. Get me a hammer, get me a basher out. Right, anyway, let's crack on. I'll get one in, and then we'll recap at the end. I've got to put a stake in down the bottom, or a couple of stakes in. Let's have a look when we get down there. Here we are, one down, about another 30 to go. Okie dokie, so definitely the fog isn't lifting. Look behind me, you can hardly see that pylon. Can you see a pylon there? Not really. Right, let's get this off the tripod. I noticed that the cold weather is affecting the battery life as well, making it shorter. Look at that. Look at that pylon. Where is it? There it is. Low flying aircraft, beware. Okay, so I've come down as far as I fenced. Look, I got as far as that, and then basically I thought I'd run out of creosote stakes and I thought I'd stop there, so I put that straining one in. And now I'm thinking, well, I've got a couple of other stakes that I'll probably put here, because I might as well just go to the corner. And then the flipping deer will probably start coming through here, won't they? Alright, anyway, I'm going to go and get a Land Rover down, and then I'm just going to put one stake there and one there. I don't like leaving that, because that just looks a bit of a mess, doesn't it? What would you do? I've got 2 more stakes that aren't creosoted. Let's talk about the stakes when I get back down here with the Land Rover. Quite interesting. Oh, it's cold. Make my nose run. Right, got my stakes in the back of here. Ignore that one. I got these. These are my second-hand ones. Look, what I've done. These came out of the orchard where I was fencing the trees. A couple of them are all right. You can tell that because they've got nails on them. Look, where I've had the rails on them. This one here. Not sure where this one came from. I think that's probably out of the orchard as well. Occasionally you get ones that don't rot like that. Look, they're still pretty sound. A little bit of flakiness at the bottom. So these are untreated. Well, they're not untreated. They're uncreosoted. They're treated with flipping some wood preserver. So you can see here. This is where I'm going with this now. Is creosoted. So what we got here is a half round stake with this sort of greeny dye type. You can see the green on the stake there. That is a wood treatment. Now the thing is, they used a really good wood treatment up until, I don't know, you'll have to Google this. It had this sort of copper arsenic, I think it was, up until probably 10 years ago, maybe less than that. Google it. And the stakes used to last really well, quite well. Anyway, as all good things that are toxic and work well, it's been banned. So they've used this other wood treatment, and these stakes, they just don't last. I got some old stakes, the old treatment, that probably last 20 years, but the new stuff, I definitely think you'd be lucky to get 10 years out of it, probably less than that. I had some stakes that were put in after 5 years, they'd started rotting. I went along, you could hear them cracking. So I decided then, I don't know, about 3 years ago, I thought, you know what, I'm fed up with this. And reality, as I'm getting older, the less fencing I want to do. So I thought I'd try and sort of future-proof the farm really and go for all creosoted stakes. So hence like this one here, all creosoted, they're dipped. It's cheaper to buy them dipped than try and dip them yourself because you can't get the creosote so cheap. So I switched to that, and I buy them in bundles of about 105 it is, to get a discount. And I'll tell you more about the pricing on stakes at the end of this video when I cost it all up. But I just saw something the other day and I thought, blimey, I couldn't believe this. The EU, and this affects Southern Ireland, has decided now to ban all creosote products. So not only have they banned the sale of creosote liquid, which was only available to commercial people like me, they've also decided to ban actual creosote stakes. So the only things that you'll be able to buy if you're in Southern Ireland or the rest of Europe are telegraph poles and railway sleepers. Everything else, like these fencing stakes, will no longer be available from April as creosote stakes. Now, to my mind, that is a horrendous bad move. Their argument is it could be cancerous or there could be some impact on the environment, I guess. Now, these stakes, people have been using these for flipping donkey's years, and as far as I'm aware, I haven't seen any impact, but you know, it's like everything that might be slightly toxic, they decide it's no good. In the UK, we can still buy these at the moment, so I can see what's going to happen in Ireland. They're going to set up timber depots on the border between Southern Ireland and Northern Ireland, and any farmer in Southern Ireland is going to nip over the border and go and get himself 100 stakes and then drive back. That's what I'd do anyway. So if I was a timber salesman and I had a timber yard near a flipping border, I'd be stocking up on creosote stakes, because it is the way to go. Because the thing is, the lifespan of these creosote stakes, I think the guarantee on them is 20 years, but they said it could last up to 40 years. Well, that'd see me out. And it's, you know, even if they last double the lifespan of the treated stuff, it's just the sheer effort of going around changing stakes over. It's not worth the aggro. Also, environmental benefit. I mean, how many trees have you got to cut down each time to put a new stake in? If you can reduce that number with the creosoting, I certainly don't think there's an environmental impact on the creosote stakes. I guess the disposal, like I just chucked mine in the hedge, I guess if you're chucking creosote stakes around after their use, there might be a problem. But surely, my thoughts would be, rather than ban the things and lose that ability to use some long-lasting fencing, is to actually issue proper guidance with them and say maybe you've got to be licensed to buy them and you've got to do a training course, or you know, you've got to wear goggles and gloves or whatever. But to actually ban them, it just seems a bit of a nanny state to me. Surely up to the individual farmer who wants to use this, because I've just seen it with so many years with these treated stakes. They just don't last. And I've seen some beautiful fencing down the side of roads and people's properties and stuff, all in the green stain stuff. And I'm looking at that thinking, I know what's coming with that, guys. Might look good now. 20 years time, you're going to be, or less than that, 10 years time, you're going to have a hell of a problem, because not only have you got to replace it all at a significant cost, you've got all that fencing to take down and deal with. I know 10 years is max on a green treated stake, because I know those trees that I fenced up there, after 10 years, all those little squares, you know, I put around the trees, they rot off. So 10 years you'll be lucky. Right, anyway, farmer rant over. I like to say my piece occasionally, you notice that. And my piece today is about creosote fencing stakes. It's the way to go. I'm going to be powering on and ordering those, because while I still can, I want to get as much creosote stakes in this farm as possible. Because otherwise I'm driving around here thinking that stake's rotted off, that stake's rotted off. In the meantime, the ones I'm using up, the leftovers, are soaked in used engine oil in the wheelie bin. Give them a little bit more life perhaps. Okay, right, let's get these in. And now the corner one. Corner time, corner time. Right, so I have got 2 stakes left to do, 2 bits of wire, and then I completed my run. I've got these 2 bits here, look. The rolls here. Oh, sort yourself out with this tripod, Richard. Right, so I'll run these down here. I'm not going to film that. We'll have a look when I finish, because you've had enough fencing videos, haven't you? Last one, I'm sure. All right, for now. Look at the state of my boiler suit. That's where I lean against the cows in the milking pile of that brown stain. Look, That's why I'm always like, brown man on the farm, tra-la-la-la-la. Brown-shouldered man on the farm, tra-la-la-la-la. Oh, finished. Finished the entire run of fencing. We're hey. Right, I got these two in, and then the wire on there. It's not as slack because that, as you know, that straining bit should be there. And these are, because I whacked them in the hammer, they're not as good as they should be. But I might put the loader bucket down on that one another day. They're good enough for this corner because this isn't a real problem corner. There's no gaps in there. Cows aren't really going to go through there. Someone said to me the other day, what are you going to do about the hedge trimming? Because you can see I'm up against the hedge. Well, I'm not worried about that because what I've done in the other fields, I let the hedge grow out past there, and then as long as I'm careful with the hedge trimmer, I'll trim back tight to there. Now, it's not wonderful. Sometimes I do get it wrong and catch the wire in the fencer, in the hedge trimmer. But, you know, what am I supposed to do? It's a dilemma, isn't it? If I don't fence this hedge, I'm going to have the cattle out. But if I put a fence here, it's difficult for hedge trimming. I'd rather have difficulty with hedge trimming than deal with the cattle. Right, so I'm going to just pack up, and then what we'll do, I'm going to do, how many stakes is it I put out? I don't know. I'll go up, we'll count them, and then we'll do a little calculation, work out what this costs. If any of you want to guess how much this costs to fence while I go back up and count them, we'll just do that. How much do you think this run, it's 200 metres of fencing. I wonder what it would cost to pay a contractor to do it. I don't know. 200 metres of fencing with creosoted stakes and 2 strands of barbed wire. Work that out yourselves while I sort this lot out. I have got a little bit of fencing left over. The that reel there, let's just carry that into the Land Rover. That reel there, the second hand one, there's a bit left. And if you look in the back of the Land, I've just put it in. Look, I've got that bit left, which is a bit annoying. I wish I'd used it all up. Still, that coming out for patching. It means I've got 2 brand new reels of wire left because I've used up all this second hand stuff. So those, well, that's okay. It's easier to store those reels than have these kicking around. I'd rather use that up. Don't know whether I'll take one back to Mole Valley and get my money back, or I'll probably just keep it because it'll get used eventually. Walk up then. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 18. Pick up the tool I left up here. 19, 31, 32, 33, 49, 50, 51. 51 fencing stakes. Okay. So we have a grand total of 51 fencing stakes, 49 creosote and 2 of those plain ones. So let's call it 51 creosote fencing stakes for argument's sake. And then I used 4 of those half round stakes, and for argument's sake, let's say I used 2 rolls of wire because the one was second hand, but if I was doing this and I had to buy it, I would have had to buy a second roll for that. So it's 2 rolls of fencing stakes, 51 creosote stakes, and 4 half round. Oh, and the staples, 4 half round. I'm gonna have to calculate that out. Give me a second while I go and work that out. I might even fag pack it. So I don't smoke. You know, fag packet farming, the old expression. My old college lecturer used to say, "Oh yeah, write that on the back of a fag packet." Well, that was 40 years ago, nearly. 37 years ago, I think. When people smoked a lot more, and it was acceptable to say things like that. I don't think many people do fag packet farming at Hartbury College now. But right, I'm going to try and work that out, and then I'll let you know what that is. So you can work this out yourself while I'm walking down here. £7.57 plus VAT for a creosote fencing stake from Stowag. Stowag, I think, are cheaper than Mole Valley, so that's where we're getting them from. And that's if you order 105. Now I don't count the VAT because we can claim that back. So you got to do 51 times £7.57, and then well, I'll get back to you on that. I can use a calculator on my phone. Right, I've just done a few rough calculations. I got a problem with the mobile phone signal down here. I can't actually look everything up because the website won't load because there's no proper signal here. But I did get as far as the stakes. So in fencing stakes terms, if I take it 51 creosote and 4 of the strainers, 410 quid for the fencing posts alone. Plus, now the 2 rolls of wire, I can't look up on their website, so I can't be sure on the exact price of those, but oh, hang on. Has it loaded? No. So I'm gonna say let's chuck in 80 quid for the rolls of 2 rolls of wire. So that's 490, and then let's chuck in a generous 5 quid for the staples, and also I wrote off two fencing stakes. I should probably put those in as well. So let's round it up. Let's just roughly call it 500 quid. I think that's I'm not down to the exact amount, but 500 quid seems about right for the cost of me fencing this 200 meters of fence with the wire. Oh, hang on, barbed wire. Oh, 66 quid. Heavy duty mild steel, 68 quid. So I reckon over 500 quid then. 520, say. Let's say 520 or 530 probably, because of the. Anyway, we're well over 500 quid. 530 to 540 for me to fence this properly with creosote stakes, wire and everything. That's a lot of money. 200 meters. It's a fair run, but if you think you've got easily more than that the other side and the ends, you could do a field like this, and it might cost you getting on £2,000. So bear that in mind. If you're renting a field or you're going to buy a field, you've got to take the fencing costs included in that field, and it's something you don't always take account of when you buy something, or even worse, probably rent it, and they say, oh yeah, can you fence it, and you think, oh, it cost me 100 quid. There's a significant cost in that, so you have to have your wits about you. And that's something else you don't always realise as well, is that the onward going cost of maintaining a farm, just to stand still, there's quite significant cost there. Right, anyway, I've racked on enough. You've seen enough of this. I'm cracking on. Thanks for watching my fencing saga. On to the next job. I never stop. Crack on.